Welcome back to Anand Science Academy. Let's continue the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. Microbes in Human Welfare, Part 3. Microbes in production of biogas. Biogas is a mixture of gases containing predominantly methane produced by the microbial activity and which may be used as a fuel. Microbes produce different types of gaseous end products during their growth and metabolism. The type of gas produced depends upon the microbes and the organic substrates they utilize. Certain bacteria grow anaerobically on cellulosic material, produce large amount of methane along with carbon dioxide and hydrogen. These bacteria are collectively called methanogens. One such common bacterium is Methanobacterium. All known methanogens belong to the archaea and are strict anaerobes. These bacteria are commonly found in the anaerobic sludge during sewage treatment, and these are also present in the rumen, that is a part of the stomach of cattle. In this picture, you can see 4 different parts of stomach of a cattle. One of the parts is rumen. Humans cannot digest cellulose because they lack the enzymes essential for breaking the beta-acetyl linkages. The undigested cellulose acts as a fiber that aids in the functioning of the intestinal tract in human beings. A lot of cellulosic material present in the food of cattle is also present in the rumen. In rumen, these bacteria help in the breakdown of cellulose and play an important role in the nutrition of cattle. Thus, the excreta of cattle, commonly called gobar, is rich in these bacteria. Dung can be used for generation of biogas, commonly called gobar gas. In this picture, you can see a typical biogas plant. Floating drum plants consist of an underground digester, which is cylindrical or dome shaped, and a moving gas holder. The gas holder floats either directly on the fermentation slurry or in a water jacket of its own. The gas is collected in the gas drum, which rises or moves down according to the amount of gas stored. In this picture, we can see a biogas plant located in a village and the dried cow dung, which is usually mixed with water and bovine urine to prepare slurry. The spent slurry, called the digested biogas slurry, is rich in macro and micronutrients that provide essential plant nutrients for longer period. By applying the digested biogas slurry in the field for long-term basis, help in reducing fertilizer demand and provide an eco-friendly way of maintaining productivity and soil health. The technology of biogas production was developed in India mainly due to the efforts of Indian Agricultural Research Institute IARI and Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC. Microbes as biocontrol agents. Biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods for controlling plant diseases and pests. Disadvantages of chemical pesticides. Chemicals may be non-specific and kill beneficial insects also. Pest may develop resistance to the pesticide. Pesticides may either enter food chains, accumulate, and harm other organisms. Chemical residues may cause harm to humans, especially farmers. The beetle ladybird helps to get rid of aphids which feed on the plant sap. Dragonflies help to get rid of mosquitoes. These insects are beneficial. Ladybird and dragonflies help us to get rid of these pests. Strains of the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis produce over 200 different types of Bt toxins, each harmful to different insects. Most notably, Bt toxins are insecticidal to the larvae of moths and butterflies, beetles, cotton bollworms, and flies, but are harmless to other forms of life. These bacteria are available in sachets as dried spores. These dried spores are mixed with water, sprayed on to the vulnerable plants such as brassicas and fruit trees. When the plants are eaten by the insect larvae, in the gut of the larvae, toxins are released by the bacteria. Because of these toxins, the larvae are killed. Because of the development of methods of genetic engineering in the last decade or so, the scientists have introduced Bacillus thuringiensis toxin genes into plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by insect pests. Bt cotton is one such example. The gene encoding for Bt toxin has been inserted into cotton as a transgene, causing it to produce the natural insecticide in its tissues. In many regions, the main pests in commercial cotton are Lepidopteran larvae, which are killed by the Bt protein in the genetically modified cotton they eat. This eliminates the need to use large amounts of broad-spectrum insecticides to kill Lepidopteran pests, some of which have developed pyrethroid resistance. This spares natural insect predators in the farm ecology and further contributes to non-insecticide pest management. Now, let's see how the fungus Trichoderma helps plants in the disease control. Trichoderma species have been demonstrated as a potent biocontrol agents against different pathogens, mostly soil-borne, which are causative agents of innumerable plant diseases. Strains of Trichoderma are widely used as a substitute in place of chemical pesticides to tackle many plant pathogens. Let's see how to use trichoderma in your garden. If you apply this fungus to seed, it will colonize the plant root system as it grows. You can apply it directly into the furrow when planting. If you are planting turf, you can mix the fungus into the surface of the soil. Baculoviruses, which belong to the family Baculoviridae, are a group of DNA viruses that infect insects. These viruses are very small, rod-shaped structures composing of a protein coat containing a small amount of DNA which encodes components for further viral reproduction. Nucleopolyhedrovirus (NPV) is an important entomopathogenic virus belonging to Baculoviridae family. These NPV are excellent candidates for species-specific narrow-spectrum insecticidal applications. Narrow-spectrum insecticides, also known as selective insecticides, target only a specific type of insect or family of insects. They do not cause negative impact on plants, mammals, birds, fish, or even on non-target insects. This is especially desirable when beneficial insects are being conserved to aid in an overall integrated pest management program. Integrated pest management. Integrated pest management (IPM) is an effective and environmentally sensitive approach to pest management that relies on a combination of common sense practices. IPM programs use current comprehensive information on the life cycles of pests and their interaction with the environment. This information, in combination with available pest control methods, is used to manage pest damage by the most economical means and with the least possible hazard to people, property, and the environment. Microbes as biofertilizers. First, let's see the disadvantages of chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers affect microorganisms living in the soil. They are highly soluble in water, hence they leach away into groundwater without fully benefiting the plant. They encourage plant diseases. While the fertilizers help a plant to grow, they do not do much for the soil. Organic farming. Organic farming is a technique which involves the cultivation of plants and rearing of animals in natural ways. This process involves the use of biological materials, avoiding synthetic substances to maintain soil fertility, and ecological balance, thereby minimizing pollution and wastage. A biofertilizer is a substance which contains living microorganisms which, when applied to seeds, plant surfaces, or soil, colonize the rhizosphere or the interior of the plant and promotes growth by increasing the supply or availability of primary nutrients to the host plant. The main sources of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi, and cyanobacteria. Biofertilizers add nutrients through the natural process of nitrogen fixation, solubilizing phosphorus, and stimulating plant growth through the synthesis of growth promoting substances. The microorganisms in biofertilizers restore the soil's natural nutrient cycle and build soil organic matter. The root nodules of leguminous plants formed by the symbiotic association of rhizobium. These bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen into organic forms, which is used by the plant as a nutrient. Bacteria like Azospirillum and Acetobacter, which are living freely in the soil, also enrich the nitrogen content of the soil. Mycorrhiza. A mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association between a green plant and a fungus. The plant makes organic molecules such as sugars by photosynthesis and supplies them to the fungus. And the fungus supplies to the plant water and mineral nutrients such as phosphorus taken from the soil. Many members of the genus Glomus form mycorrhiza. Let's see what are the advantages of mycorrhiza. Fungi absorb phosphorus from the soil and pass it to the plant. Plants show resistance to root-borne pathogens. They develop tolerance to salinity and drought. There is an overall increase in plant growth and development. Can you tell what advantage the fungus derives from this association? The plant makes organic molecules such as sugars by photosynthesis and supplies them to the fungus, and the fungus supplies to the plant water and mineral nutrients such as phosphorus taken from the soil. So they are mutually benefited. Cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. Cyanobacteria are a group of photosynthetic bacteria, some of which are nitrogen fixing, that live in a wide variety of moist soils and water, either freely or in a symbiotic relationship with plants. Here are some examples of cyanobacteria: Nostoc, Anabaena, and Oscillatoria. Currently, in our country, a number of biofertilizers are available commercially in the market, and farmers use these regularly in their fields to replenish soil nutrients and to reduce dependence on chemical fertilizers. With this, the 10th chapter, Microbes in Human Welfare, is completed. Hope this video is useful to your preparation. Let's start a new chapter in the next video. All the best, friends.